Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Tribe Forex Power Hour. I'm here with Nino. Today is April 15th, 2014, and we're going to do today what we've done for years, which is an analysis of the markets and evaluation of our strategies, which are based upon the 5 p.m. Eastern Time close of our daily bars and sometimes our 4-hour bars. Somewhere along the line, we're going to talk about the trades that we may be in and trading opportunities for you. So let's talk about how it works really quickly. Our formula for success is basically very simple. At 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we do our market analysis to determine our bias. What is a bias? Bias is the probability that price will go up, then we believe we will call a buy bias, okay? And vice versa on the sell. So we'll be looking for a sell bias if price is going down. We believe there's a probability that price will go down. Okay, so how do we execute the biases for profits? We either take a set and forget it trade, which we will take at the beginning of the session. Okay, so we'll determine our entries. That may be a market order, a limit order, a stop order, our stop loss, our take profit as well. And we may also day trade in the direction of our bias using our pods. What are pods? They're points of decision for bigger profits. If you don't know what that is, go to tribeforex.com. And of course, guys, you have one of the greatest benefits, which is Nino, who is a pro Forex trader. He's been trading for quite some time. We've been trading together for quite some time. And he is in the trade room twice during the week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 to 3 a.m. Eastern Time and also at 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Nino, are you here?
I'm here, Marcello. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm great. Glad to have you on the call, as always. And so, guys, you can work with Nino. You can ask him as many questions as you like in the live trade room. And, of course, he's there for whatever you need. And he's also, you get to watch trades being taken and being won. And also you get to see how you handle losses as well, because there will be both of those. There will be wins and there will be losses. That is a part of trading. Okay. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the charts really quickly. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't have an awful lot to say about these charts that I'm looking at right now. There's not a tremendous amount of opportunities that I can see that are straightforward. Number one, we've just come out of a consolidation here on the weekly on the euro. And your chart may look slightly different than mine here, and there's a reason for that. It's because I have a different charting system on right now. Okay, and so that's why that is the way that it is. There's actually another trend line that I didn't draw that Nino has, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that now. Okay. And it looks a little something like this. So you can see I've drawn from one swing high, and this was a swing high, to another swing high. And you can see that a third swing, basically it's not a swing high yet, but it is in the process of being formed here, that we've hit that swing high as well. So, you know, looking at it from this standpoint, it really does look like price can continue down. We've already retested and come very close to the high of this last resistance area. That is our uppermost trend line for the time being, and it looks like price really wants to come back down into the channel. Now that's on the monthly, so that is our overview for the month. What can we see here on the weekly? Well, what we see is that we've crossed the first trend line. We are respecting the upper resistance area. We could see price come down. Honestly, to be real with you, we're kind of on that line, that point of decision, if you will, that trend line here. So whatever the market decides to do at this point from this trend line will be determinative of where we're going to go. Okay, so this is going to be a very determining, like I like to say, an axiomatic moment in the market and the events that will occur going forward. So that is the euro dollar. That's the weekly. Let's take a look at the daily. So as you can see, we kind of have a doji-like formation. This is almost a reversal candle that's formed here. Now, of course, on my charts, it is not quite yet closed, but that would have been closed. If you looked at Nino's charts, you would see it closed already. Your charts are slightly different, I imagine. And so it does look like price does want to go up. Now, I think that price could go up. I think it could go up all the way even to back up to 138.98, which is not a big distance. It's only 80 pips away, which really is the range that we're accustomed to on the euro for a day. So you could see a major push up here on the euro dollar tomorrow, but we're still going to be looking for a drop. Okay, why are we looking for a drop? Because price 60 to 70% of the time really likes to stay within its consolidation zones. Okay, it likes to stay within its ranges because we know that 60 to 70% of the time there is consolidation. 10% of the time there are breakouts, and 20% of the time 20% of the times we have trending markets. Okay, so we don't quite have that. We've been in a lot of consolidation here. We're going to probably look for price to come and touch this line potentially again. If it does even that, or it could just simply drop through the secondary, what was resistance and now is a support area, okay, on the euro dollar. So that's what we have. So guys, it's kind of up in the air. It's not really clear for us right now. I like it when it's really clear. So if we get back up here, I'm going to be looking for a sell most likely off the top of it, especially if it gives me the kind of market action that would give us and would be indicative of a market that wants to come down. So that's what we're looking at. That's where we are. And that's it for the euro dollar. So you're just going to have to watch your own market activity here. I don't have a really clear idea of where the market's going to go today per se, but I am very clear about what I do think it's going to do eventually. And I do think there's a very strong chance that price is going to continue to break downward looking at this monthly chart, unless of course this resistance area is broken above on the monthly. I do think that we do have an opportunity to see price drop on this euro, potentially back down to the 30, definitely back to the 3650 area, and potentially down to the 3200 areas. Okay, so not really strong call there. I told you, I was very upfront with you as far as that was concerned. We do not have a strong call on the euro at this moment. Okay, so I'm going to actually pull up this dollar CAD monthly, and I've drawn a lot of these. For some reason, my charts are not holding the drafts that I've made for whatever reason, but we've got them here, and so I'm going to redraw them. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, there it goes. All right. So it really looks like from where we're standing, looking at the monthly here on the dollar CAD, just to give you an overview. And I feel like today I'm going to be giving a lot more overviews than I am going to be very specific trade calls. And that's just the nature of the beast for whatever reason today. So right now we don't have another swing high to look at. We've got an open bar here, and the previous bar did not have two lower points for us to have a swing high on this dollar CAD monthly. So the only trend line we have, we've actually broken. So it looks like price eventually is going to want to go up here on the dollar CAD for the time being. Looking at the weekly, you can see exactly what I mean. And on this weekly, we have bounced exactly off that trend line, just about, and we've gotten up to that 1.100 area, which was a very strong area of support and resistance, and obviously a very strong psychological area as well. So what we're going to be looking for from here is most likely a push up on the dollar CAD. That's what the market, the technicals are showing us at this moment. Now, if I look at the dollar CAD on the daily, it looks like we could see a sell. That's what it wants to show us. But I really do believe that there's a good chance that we could get back into the ranges here. We really never came out of this range, guys. By the way, this is a lot of range, and we're at the very bottom of that range. We could see the dollar CAD go back to the top of this range, which is to the 1.122 area. Okay, and so that's what I see on the dollar CAD. So I'm not really paying any attention to the fact that it's bouncing off that 1.100 area. We've had multiple bounces off of that, and we've come right back to it, and we've retested it again. So the market is not afraid of that psychological area of resistance, okay? And I believe that at some point it will be support again. Just from what I'm seeing on the technicals today, that may change, but for the time being, that's exactly what we're looking at. All right, so that's the dollar CAD. I do think at some point we're going to break through this dollar CAD high. Now, this is just an overview again. I don't really have a specific call on the day. Now, the pound dollar, we have this very strong area of resistance here at the top. 1, 2 points. We had 2 points here, and we've had this consolidation that is waiting to break out at some point. You can see here that we actually had a reversal candle form on the pound dollar. And we're talking about it, and we were looking at the opportunities here, and we're kind of in a consolidation on the monthly on the pound dollar. And we have seen multiple touches on this or confirmations on this pound dollar resistance area at the top, this horizontal support and resistance really at 1.6800 to 1.6850. You know, it naturally looks like that the pound dollar wants to drop, but what we're seeing here very clearly, that's the monthly chart, is that we haven't seen the market pull back on the pound dollar at all. And so we're going to look for, on the day at least, potentially a retest of these 16800 areas, and then we'll make a decision going from here. Now look on the daily. We have a consolidation here. We have a pennant formed, and we have a narrowing channel, if you will. This is our pennant. This is our consolidation moving into an apex. What happens in an apex is what we're going to see is an explosive movement. We're going to see that 10% breakout that we like to see here on the pound dollar. What direction is it going to go in? I dare say I think it's going to go down. Why? Because that's what we're accustomed to seeing as far as this area of resistance is concerned. Okay, so just hold on to your panties, if you will, because we're going to go in one direction or the other. I know that the apex is really going to happen. It's really going to the apex is going to cause some form of a breakout that should be very solid. Okay, so right in here, guys, we're still in consolidation here on the pound dollar. We could see price go up to 16800. That is not very far. It's about 75 pips away, and then we could see a pullback on it, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. The pound dollar also could break out of this channel. I mean, you know, that's what resistance is meant to do. The rules are meant to be broken, and so are trend lines. Trend lines are meant to be broken as well eventually. Just like rules, people, they follow their agreements until they don't, and so that's how this is going to work with this trend line. Eventually, it's going to be broken. But right now, we're approaching this apex. I think we have a little bit more space here as far as that's concerned. We could see, like I said, most likely going to see a move up on the pound dollar before we see a push down. Okay, but I think inevitably we are going to see a push down on the pound dollar, as that is the range that we've been in historically speaking, and this broader apex is much stronger, you know, and we are in the intersection of that, so we could see a retest of that 6800 area and then potentially a push back down to the 5600 areas on the pound dollar. Now when that happens, that's your key, or your cue, sorry, to get into this thing and really hold on tight. Don't even look at it. Just set a nice small trade, let that thing run all the way down, let it meander all the way down, and don't get out of it until you know, until it's time, till you get down to those 5800, that 5800 area, 5900 area, and take profit. That's what I'm looking forward to. We don't know yet. We haven't seen the initiation of that particular move, but we're going to be looking forward to it. All right. So the dollar Swiss is another pair. Now look, the dollar Swiss, what we could see, and this is why I don't have a tremendous amount of calls here, this is a doji kind of forming here. It looks like price could come down actually and bounce again off of this trend line, but I'll tell you this trend line is very strong. We can see it on the weekly, we can see it on the monthly, okay? And so that's why we believe inevitably that price will go up on the dollar Swiss. So we could see a day where it kind of pulls down to 87.66, just like we could see a buy on the euro dollar. We know that there's an inverse relationship, inverse correlation between the dollar Swiss and the euro dollar. So we don't have a clear call as far as today is concerned. When we get back down to this point of decision, this trend line, if it does do that, we could just see it continue to move up. We see that move up, we're most likely going to see, there's actually an 85% chance that we're going to see the euro dollar really begin to drop if we do see a move up on the dollar Swiss because of the correlation there, the strong correlation between the dollar Swiss and the euro dollar. But we could see price come back down here on the euro dollar first, and so for that reason we are not going to be calling that either. It's just one of those days. Listen, hear me out though, because there's a lot of overviews. This is our market overview, and we can really do something with it going forward. Dollar yen, same thing. We have this narrowing consolidation. This is a contraction in price. We're going to be, I think inevitably what we're going to see is price go up. Now, why am I not quick to call this as price going up from where we are? Because we have a consolidation. This is what your textbook inside breakout formation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars that are inside of each other on the dollar yen. We're at the top of that channel, if you will, or that breakout formation. So what is that going to tend to tell us? That price most likely wants to go down before it goes up and really breaks out. Okay, unless there's some news that's coming out of Japan, or the dollar, there's really not a real reason to believe that there's going to be a breakout here after 5 or 6 days of the same thing. In fact, you could count this first candle as a master candle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars that are within each other's highs, lows, and closes. Okay, so that definitely is a consolidation movement there. We could see price. We're at the top of it here, and actually, if I really wanted to, I could draw a interesting trend line here. Now, this is obviously a short-term trend line. We do not have swing highs and swing lows to attach them, but clearly the highs are all there. The highs are all there, okay? And so that's what we're going to be looking for, probably a sell-off here on the dollar yen now that I put that there. So most likely a dollar yen sell. All right, so here on the dollar CAD, we've just talked about the dollar CAD. I think it wants to go up eventually. New Zealand. Now the New Zealand dollar, we've been talking about this channel that it's been in. It's gone down. It's gone up. It's gone down. Bounce off the low side, and we're kind of settled here in the middle. Once again, guys, consolidation. It's just really consolidation movement. Okay, so what do we have? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars that are within each other, and as you can see, it's a narrowing channel here. And in other words, some form of a pennant here as well, and this is going to give us a good opportunity potentially. We're at the bottom of that. We could see price move up here on the New Zealand just to stay within this channel here. Okay, and it's a very narrow, and this could be a smaller consolidation, smaller pennant within these few bars just for the time being. So that's New Zealand. I'm probably going to look for a buy here just because of what's been going on. Now it could test lower and then move up, but most likely New Zealand's going to move up, especially if we don't have news, any news out of Asia, no news out of the New Zealand or Aussie dollar that's going to cause it to do anything. It's just going to really bounce around in that range. So we're in that range. We're at the bottom of the range. We're going to look for price to go up in the range on the New Zealand dollar. We're going to look for a buy there. Okay, my Aussie dollar also not really. It kind of had a good sell-off day. That's good for it. And I called a consolidation here. I thought it was going to get back up to this trend line at 94.50. Not quite getting there. It got to 94.16, which is not very close at all, and really just sold downward. And we're still within its ranges here, so no call there, not very clear. But a nice reversal candle here, but the reversal candle wasn't reacted to by the market in any way, and so we kind of just, have this another consolidation basically. We've formed a very small channel here, a box, if you will, that the market really has to break out of. So there's nothing there for us as far as the Aussie dollar is concerned. You may want to play consolidation again on this one. Euro yen, same formation that we looked at on the dollar yen, which means that we're really at the bottom of it, and we could see price eventually. It looks like it wants to go up here on this euro yen. It looks like the yen wants to get weaker. Okay, so the yen eventually is going to want to get weaker here. What are we going to see here? We could see a push down once again, as I said, 140.26. But really, I'm looking for price to go up just a bit here, and I'm going to look for price to get up to 142.67 eventually. We are really respecting this lower area of support and resistance, and we have had a third touch at that area of support at 140.22 is where that touch was, and it really does coincide with movement back to November. So that is definitely a support area that is confirmed, and eventually we're going to see price move up to 142.70 or 142.50 at the very least here on the euro yen. Okay, so the yen looks like it wants to get it's time in its cycle for it to get weaker. Okay, so we're going to look for news that will support that, and that is most likely going to be what we play off of. All right, so I am here looking at the pound yen to finish. There's some long-term plays. So if you're a long-term player, this is the stuff that dreams are made of. There are good opportunities, I think, for you if that's what you're into. Okay. So you see why I'm drawing this area of support at the bottom. It's not relevant at this particular moment, but it will be most likely at some point. You can see here it's all the way down at 119, but there were no closes below this area. So basically, you could have drawn a horizontal line from that. So we had a low of 118.77 there, and we had a low here of 118.81. So basically in the same area of 118.80. That is really our area of support there for the pound yen, and we're really at the peak of what this could be, which is a nice apex formation. Now, why is it there? Because we have a swing high. It's the only swing high that we have that we can look to here on the pound yen. So if you go down to the weekly, we're really bouncing off this area of resistance here on the weekly. You can see we had a doji, a reversal candle, nice push down. You can see price coming back up. And now I'm going to go down to the daily. Okay, so that's what I have on my pound yen daily. It looks like we are narrowing into an apex. And this area that we're looking at, man, you know, honestly, I'm looking at this yen, this pound yen, and I'm really looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, this pound yen really, really wants to drop somehow. I don't know how that works out, but it looks like it really wants to drop. I'm going to go back to the monthly now. Yeah. It really wants to drop. Looking at this area of support and resistance. We're going to have to look at this more closely here on the pound yen because it is not in line. It's completely incongruent with what we're seeing as far as the euro yen and the dollar yen are concerned. But on the day, let's go back to the day here. We're still in the apex, and I think there's more play here. We really did bounce off the lower area, the same exact thing. You could see price really push up here to 170, 140 on the pound yen. I'm not going to make a call here on this pound yen. I'm going to take a closer look over time, let it develop just a bit more. Okay, so there's a lot of consolidation plays here on all of our currency pairs, basically in the markets here. I think that there are a couple plays that looks pretty solid. I think I called, the only one that I really called was a sell here on the dollar yen that looked pretty solid potentially that we could see. I mean, I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. I think eventually it wants to go up. So there's a kind of oxymoronic behavior, if you will. I do believe it's going to go up, but I think in the short term it's going to go down. So we can play that really on the dollar yen unless there's some news coming out which is going to move it, okay, just on the day. And I think tomorrow we'll have much clearer, impression of where the market really wants to go. So we'll just wait for tomorrow, guys. I think my overviews are actually really strong. I've gotten some insight myself. I hope it's been helpful for you. And of course, guys, Thursday, not tomorrow, but Thursday, the day after that, meet Nino in the trade room, 1 to 3 a.m. Eastern time to trade the London session, and then again at 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern time to trade the New York session. Thank you very much, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. All the best.